This is the GTN Show, and this week I'm rather lonely because Heather has deserted me for a little holiday in America.
Well, actually, Mark, I'll have you know that I did compete in the half Ironman championships out here, so to squeeze that one in around quite a lot of work. We've been really lucky to catch up with lots of the pros, so there's going to be some great content coming soon, and of course I'm going to be bringing my half of the show from here. So let's crack on.
Hi, I'm Tyler Butterfield from Bermuda. You're watching the GTN Show.
This weekend, it's the ITU World Triathlon Grand Final in Rotterdam, and GTN will be there following all the action and speaking with some of the athletes. Now, you may remember last year we had the exciting finale in Cozumel where Johnny Brownlee put everything on the line to try and take that world title, but it ended in him overheating and having to be carried across the line by his older brother, Alistair Brownlee. Now, that left him missing out on the world title by just 4 points to Mario Mola. Well, this year the rankings are looking just as close, so anything could happen this weekend. And if you're not aware of how the World Series works or how the world champion is crowned, then listen up. There are 8 World Series events, and an athlete can use their 5 best scoring events towards their World Series ranking. And of those 5, they can actually use a maximum of 2 World Cup points towards their World Series ranking. And then we have the Grand Final, which is included as an extra and actually has a much greater weighting of points. So whoever wins this weekend doesn't necessarily become the world champion. It actually comes down to an accumulation of points over the whole year. And this year it's really close, with the top 3 men and women separated by less than 800 points. In the men's, we have Mario Mola, Javier Gomez and Richard Murray. And then in the women's, we have Flora Duffy, Ashley Gentle and Andrea Hewitt. Now, Mario is the one to beat. With 4 series wins this year, he just seems to be on fire. But the question is, can Gomez or Murray shake things up? And I'm actually really interested to see how Gomez does just a week after becoming Ironman 70.3 world champion. He's clearly in good form, but will he be tired from doing a middle distance race? Now, a little math suggests that if Gomez was to win, Mario would have to place 6th to lose his top spot in the rankings. Then in the women's race, it's Flora Duffy that's been really impressive this season. She's had 5 series wins and a 2nd in Montreal, where she was beaten by Ashley Gentle, who currently sits in 2nd on the rankings. Now, Flora's been dominant across all 3 disciplines, but she's been super impressive on the bike. That's where she's opened up the big gaps. And this weekend, I really think the course could play into her hands. It all starts with the swim in the Rain Haven, which is a small harbour off the side of the river. The elites will complete a 2-lap course here, and in September the water temperatures are around 18 degrees Celsius, so it should be a wetsuit swim. They then have a split transition, meaning T1 and T2 are in different locations. So they obviously exit the water to T1 beside the harbour, mount their bikes, and then they will complete a section of the bike course over to the other side of the river, and then commence a 7-lap technical bike course with a lot of corners. So it could really separate the fields, especially if people get caught towards the back of the pack. They could find themselves sprinting out of every corner to try and stay on the group. It then goes into a flat and fast 4-lap run course. Now it's time for the weekly poll, and last week we asked you who you think will win the women's race in the Ironman 70.3 World Champs. We gave the options of Holly Lawrence, Daniela Ryf, Heather Jackson or other. And in 4th place it was other with 9%. In 3rd place it was Heather Jackson with 13%. And in 2nd, Holly Lawrence with 17%. And in 1st, it was Daniela Ryf with 59%. Now, if you didn't watch the race or you know the results already, you can hear how it all played out later on in the show with Heather. But for this week's weekly poll, we want to know who you think will become the men's ITU world champion this year. And we have the options of Mario Mola, Javier Gomez, Richard Murray, and currently 4th place on the World Series rankings, Fernando Alaza. Now, let us know what you think by clicking on the link for the poll just here. Now it's time for the Control Tech competition, where we have 5 of these Control Tech Impel clip-on TT bars to give away. And those 5 lucky winners are Coran Goitan, Clem Willis, Shane Porteous, Richard Dobson and Adita Vanderville. Now we'll be in touch with those lucky winners via email to get them shipped out to you right away, but please send in some photos of you using them via Facebook so we can see how you're getting on.
Obviously, there's been a lot of other races around the world, and we've picked a few that caught our eye, starting in Wales, where, from what I gather, the weather lived up to reputation. It was a pretty tough race. Cameron Worth of Australia won the men's event by almost 2 minutes. And then on the women's side, Lucy Gossage took the win by 24 minutes. Over in Australia, it was a 70.3 down on the Sunshine Coast, and the men's event was dominated by the Australians. Dan Wilson led them home. The top 5 places went to the host nation. Over on the women's side, also won by Australia. Katie Gibb took the win there. In Santa Cruz, there was another 70.3 on the weekend. It was a bit of a slow start due to the fog, and actually the course was shortened for the swim, but it didn't dampen the excitement because it came down in the men's race to a sprint finish. Just 1 second separated the winner, Braden Curry, ahead of Ben Hoffman for second, and the women's side, it was Liz Lyles who took the win there. The ETU Challenge long distance triathlon in Almere, Netherlands, also doubled up as a European Championships, and it was won by home favourite Yvonne van Vlerken in the women's, and Britain's Jo Skipper won the men's. Now, just 1 week ahead of the World Triathlon Series final, there was an Olympic distance event over in Beijing. It was actually a non-drafting race. It was won by Henry Sherman of South Africa in the men's and Paula Finley of Canada in the women's. As you can probably hear, I'm actually at the race for the 70.3 World Championships here in Chattanooga, and the men's age group race is actually still going on. Now, as much as I'm enjoying the sunshine here out on my holiday, Mark, it's lovely out in Chattanooga, I've stumbled across Heather Wurtele, multiple podium finisher at World Championships. Now, Heather has very kindly agreed to go through the women's race and maybe a bit of the men's pro race as well from yesterday.
So right away from the start, Lauren Brandon is an amazing swimmer. I think Sarah True's goal was to just get on her feet, which I think she did successfully, and Haley Chura, who's also an amazing swimmer. They were the lead group. So
it was America 1, 2, 3 out the water.
Yeah, indeed, like just incredible swimmers.
And how far were the chasing pack then?
Not that far back. I think they had a minute or so up on like the next sort of big group of people, which had, you know, Helle Fredrickson, Jen Spieldenner, who's another great swimmer. I think she was probably leading that group. So there was quite a big chunk, and then a little gap, and then it was a group of myself, Holly Lawrence, Emma Pellant, and then back again from us were like Laura Phillip, Lisa Hutaler, some other athletes. So there were sort of the 3 distinct groups.
Explain what happened on the bike. How did things pan out?
So what happened on the bike, it seemed like Daniela just rode herself to the front right away, as she's prone to do, and just put the hammer down. I mean, she was in the front of the race already on the climb and just continued to put time into everyone. Back from my perspective, I knew that there was that main group of like really fast swimmers that were likely all to be a pack, and I was like, I need to try and get to them as quick as possible. But in my group, really strong riders, so likes of like Jeannie Seymour and Holly Lawrence, and they were working really hard on the bike, so they got up that hill fast and bridged to that second group.
Okay, what happened to Holly?
Honestly, I don't really know. In my mind, she was like, it's like Daniela, Holly, like they're off the front. But as I was coming down the long descent, I just saw her standing at the side of the road. Okay. And so I didn't know what happened. I was like, oh. Yeah. And so I think, obviously she just wasn't having a day, made the call to drop out, which is always disappointing. Right away out of transition, I mean, Emma just took off like a shot, and Laura too looked like she was running really well. I was out right around with Annabelle Luxford, and I knew Jeannie Seymour was behind me. She's got excellent running skills, and so it's just like, okay, let's see what happens. And so it was Daniela by a country mile. I mean, it just impressive.
Were you expecting her, because obviously she's focusing on Kona, did you expect her to smash it quite as well as she did?
Maybe not quite as well. I mean, I beat her last year in Mooloolaba, which was sort of like a rare event like this. Something's off a little bit, but you sort of thought, well, okay, maybe if your focus is all on Kona. Yeah. But I feel like she's back to true Daniela form, where she's fit and focused, she just crushes it, and she did that again.
Well, thanks to Heather, she's had to dash off. So I'm just going to summarise the results very quickly. In the women's pro field, the race was won by the dominant Daniela Ryf of Switzerland in a time of 4 hours 11 minutes. Second place after a tremendous run went to Emma Pallant in a time of 4:18, and third place to Laura Philipp of Germany in 4 hours 19. Over in the men's pro field, it was the lead swimmers Javier Gomez and Ben Canute who battled it out. It came down to the run, and the Spaniard Gomez took the World Championship title in a 3 hour 49 minute performance. Second place went to Ben Canute of USA, just 1 minute 21 back. And then Tim Don of Great Britain came third, 2 minutes 15 off the lead. So that's it here from the Ironman 70.3 World Championships in Chattanooga. Mark, I'm going to go and grab my cocktail, leave you to it.
Oh, it's all right for some, isn't it? Well, I'll get on with this week's CAPtion competition. And last week we showed you a photo of GTN's Dan Lloyd floating or swimming. I'm not really sure what he was trying to do. But the winner of that CAPtion competition was Big Vegan Jeff, and he said, "Hey, I thought you said this was mineral water." Now, if you're not already a fan of GTN, well, Dan is quite keen on his mineral water or beer. So to put that caption into a bit of context, here is a short clip.
I've had at least 8 mineral waters myself. I'm not sure what the others have been drinking.
Now, for this week's photo that we'd like you to caption, it's actually one from my own archive of me on a training camp with Alistair and Johnny Brownlee. Now, I do apologise for my rather horrific sunglasses, but the reason that we're wearing bin bags is that we were on a training ride in Spain. We were a couple of hours from home when the heavens opened, and the only way that we could get home in one piece was by wearing these bin bags to keep warm. So please leave your captions in the comments below. And don't forget, Big Vegan Jeff, get in touch via social media to claim your cap. Now it's time for this week's Try DIY, where we get you to send in photos of your try hacks and creations. So to start things off, we have a photo here from Sasha Fetch that they've sent in over Facebook. Now they have made an ETAP junction box case, and not just any old case, it is a 3D printed case. That is seriously cool. I mean, a lot of effort, but very cool. And they've even managed to hide away all the cables, and they're able to plonk this on the top of their stem. Really neat. And then from David Summerfield, he has got some Spinergy wheels that he has turned into a disc wheel. And he's told us that the whole wheel set, front and rear, cost him $260. The tire and the tube was $28. And then to make it a disc wheel, the vinyl roll just cost him $7. Now that is a real hack. And he saved himself a lot of money there to make it a disc wheel. Very good. Alex Lark, in prep for Ironman Wales, that was just the weekend gone, he has made himself a gel holder on his seat tube and his down tube. So, I mean, it looks like he wanted to take a lot of fuel with him. And yeah, I mean, that looks like it's kind of working pretty well. He's got a lot of gels there. And then probably my favorite, Sean John, I sent this in over Facebook. He's made his own disc wheel and he's called it the Cardboard Fiber Ghetto Aero disc wheel. And he simply cut up an old cardboard box and made his standard wheel into a disc wheel. I love it, it's brilliant. And do please keep sending your photos in using the hashtag TryDIY over Twitter, or send them in over Facebook. Coming up on the channel this week, tomorrow we have how to swim around buoys. On Friday we have giraffe legal racing video. On Saturday we have a pro bike from Chattanooga. On Sunday we have some tech coming from the ITU World Champs in Rotterdam. Then on Monday we have a wetsuit repair video. On Tuesday, we have a running cadence video. And then on Wednesday, we are back here for the GTN Show. There we go, that is the GTN Show. And we're gonna be heading out to Rotterdam for the ITU World Triathlon Series Grand Final. And if you're heading out there too, please keep an eye out for us and come and say hello. We're gonna be bringing you content from there over the weekend and next week on YouTube and social media. And to make sure that you don't miss out on any of that content, just subscribe to GTN by clicking on the globe. And to see our 8 key stretches video, just click down here. And to see our swimming on hips versus swimming on feet video, just click down here.